Good afternoon. Can you hear me okay? Great. Hello. My name is Brian Weiler. I'm the director of the airport. I appreciate you coming to this briefing on short notice. With me, I have Chief David Hall with the Springfield Fire Department and Chuck Kirlland with the Transportation Security Administration. We'll provide some comments on what we know at this point in time. As you can imagine, the investigation, everything is still coming together. But what we know at this point in time is that approximately 9:30 this morning, TSA screening equipment at the airport identified a suspicious bag on an outbound flight. Following the airport's established emergency plan and procedures, we closed the TSA checkpoint within 5 to 10 minutes to not bring further passengers into the area. We moved the public away from the radius area around the screening equipment. We did not have to exit or evacuate the terminal building. We just moved people away in the designated radius around the area. We also stopped all inbound and outbound airline flights at the terminal. The airport did not close. It was just the terminal to not bring passengers into the terminal itself. Also, various law enforcement and emergency agencies did respond to the airport at that time. The Springfield Fire Department bomb squad assessed the situation, and eventually they removed the suspicious bag from the terminal building. Soon after that, the airport was able to reopen the checkpoint and resume normal flight operations, which we are just starting back up at this point in time. We certainly recognize that this was an inconvenience to the area, but as you can imagine, the safety of the flying public and the security is always our utmost concern. And the investigation continues, but that's really what we know at this time. Again, we will try to answer any questions you might have, but that's basically what we know at this point in time.
What happened to the person that had the suspicious bag?
That person is being detained and is going through investigation with law enforcement.
Can you tell us their gender, age, anything?
I'll speak on that. As of right now, we don't really have anything we can release on. It's very preliminary. The bomb squad's still assessing what was detected, and again, we're not even sure for sure whether it's something that's of a serious nature or whether it's not. So it's still being assessed. So it's really even too early to be able to get any details, and we wouldn't want to do that as of yet.
Was the person traveling or a visitor to the airport?
I don't have that information.
What do we know about what the bag looked like with the possible explosive device, and can you give us any details on that?
I mean, it's just luggage, that's the only thing we know is that, the only thing really at liberty to say is it was just within normal commercial luggage, type luggage.
What about it rendered it as possibly suspicious?
That would probably be a better question for TSA to be able to answer that than what we would.
Well, for obvious reasons, we don't disclose capabilities of technology. However, it was machinery that detected something inside of a bag that could possibly be a threat, and all we do as TSA is we detect, we contain it, and then we turn it over to law enforcement and fire department for further investigation. So that's our role.
How will you further investigate? What will happen to the bag now that you have it?
Well, at this point, the package has been removed from location using our standard procedures that we do. Then once we get to the designated location, they'll further investigate that. We do have the ATF and FBI that they're here for technical support if we have any questions. And then once we determine and assess what we need to do with it or what it exactly it is, then we'll determine how we, what we call render the situation safe. And then from there, that would determine who it is that would be a lead agency on this. So until then, our fire marshals are looking into it.
How long does that take?
It will probably take several hours for us to be able to say that. It really kind of depends. Sometimes it can go very quickly, and you can very quickly tell us, okay, this turned out to be nothing, or this turned out to be something. And so then, again, making that determination what actually how we render it safe.
Brian, this might be a question for you. How bad of a domino effect is this going to have on the flights for the rest of the day, leaving here?
It will take some time for the system to get caught back up. We did have some inbound aircraft. As I said, the airport remained open during this entire event. The aircraft that landed, we just simply put them in a designated area on the airfield on a taxiway and asked them to wait at that point in time. Thankfully, the bomb squad was able to respond fairly quickly and get the suspicious package out of that area, so we were able to get the planes then back to the terminal to take the passengers off and so forth. So it's going to take some time. There is going to be some impact. There's no doubt about that. But I think all in all, it was about as quickly as it could have been.
What were passengers on the plane told? What was going on?
We were very open, made an announcement in both the public terminal building as well as to the aircraft that we were dealing with a suspicious package and that we needed people to stay out of those areas. Everyone cooperated very well. We did have law enforcement there, but again, the public was very compliant in this area, and the plan worked, and we were able to address the situation.
We had an individual emailing us from a plane, inside a plane, outside. Do you know how many folks were sitting out there on the tarmac?
It was approximately 3 to 4 aircraft that we had inbound that were out waiting on the taxiway. I think initially it was 1 to 2, but obviously as it progressed, we had more planes land.
So can you tell us where the person was traveling to? What was their plan with this?
I do not have that information.
How long will you be speaking with it? How does that work?
At this point in time, this situation, as far as from the individual, has been turned over to the other agencies. The airport itself, our focus is on transporting people. We are working to resume operations as quickly as possible and get folks on their way.
But you're still speaking with that person?
The airport itself, again, we are not the jurisdiction that are dealing with that individual, and I don't think the ESA is either, no.
As far as the threat, is there any other imminent threat? Is this an isolated incident? Is there anything you can talk about on that?
We're not aware of any further item, and our primary goal now is try to resume operations as quickly as possible and get people on their way.
Yeah, and I might just clarify on that is, we're still assessing it. We just had something that was suspicious that we're looking at. It may turn out to be completely innocuous and completely innocent. So, I think that's why we're somewhat cautious about it, because we don't know that we've got anything yet. But there was enough that it raised concern, and so we treat all of these seriously. And so that's why it's being handled the way it is. We feel like the process has worked well, and everything procedurally went the way it is. Of course, we train regularly with the airport and TSA on these type of situations.
What was the procedure moving the item out of the building?
Just standard procedures. We used a robot, so they use a robot, they pick it up, and we took it out in order to get it out and away from the area, and then we put it in what we call a containment unit, containment vessel that's specifically designed to be able to transport something that's potentially explosive. It was put in there. We ran into a little bit of trouble with being able to get it into the containment unit. It's like putting it in a washing machine, frankly, and so whenever you take your luggage and try and put something like that. So we did have a bomb tech who did suit up and go downrange in order to physically put it in it. So that was the only little hitch that we saw. It was just one of those things that you do run into those depending on the size of the package you deal with.
And then what happens to the package afterwards? Is it just still being looked at, or?
Yeah, it gets transported off-site to a safe location. That way, again, the bomb squad can look at that and really assess it further and be able to determine exactly what it is. Is it something that is potentially serious, or is it something that's really nothing? So, and then once they do, then they can decide how it is that they would render it safe.
Are they talking with the owner of the luggage here on campus, or do they take them elsewhere?
I'm not sure. I don't have that information right now, if they're still on site or if they've gone somewhere else to talk about it, talk with them about it. I just don't know. A lot of that will deal with, once we further investigate. If it turns out to be nothing, it's fairly simple for us with the individual. If it turns out to be something, they're going to be, obviously want to have more questions for them.
So we don't know where this person is.
I don't know. During the incident, I know that they were, they were just here on site with him, but I don't know if that's the case or not.
And again, what agencies are talking to the person that owned the bag?
We have various agencies responding right now, and as Chief Hall said, I honestly don't know right now who's actually questioning, but there are various law enforcement, both local and state, that are responding to that and dealing with that situation.
Does this person have a criminal record?
We do not have that information. Okay, well, thank you all for coming.
We'll try to get a point of contact for you.
Yeah.
Yeah, and as we get more information, obviously, we'll send that out through media release as well, so you guys will have that. Thanks.
Okay, thank you.